You're trying to sell something that nobody is buying.
Yes.
You're still trying to sell something that nobody's asking for. So I'm trying to tie it to something that people are asking for.
Yes.
So what is the actual thing that they're asking for? I understand this is the solution,
Mm-hmm.
but who would this solution help? And what are those people asking for?
Mm.
I guess is my real question, right? Because there's no point selling something that nobody's asking for, right? Like, for example, I can talk all about like, yeah, you need to connect the dots to like all that stuff. Nobody's saying, son, can you teach me how to connect the dots? Nobody's saying that. Do you understand what I
Yes,
mean?
yes, yes. It's a challenge. I
So,
need to be
yeah,
honest. It's a challenge for me, and I.
because one aspect you brought about is corporate training, right? So
Mhm.
I already know that there are plenty of people out there that are corporate trainer. They go in to teach like leadership, teach sales, or teach this or whatever it is, right? That's very clear to me. I can sell that, right? But what you're saying is a little bit vague because you're saying that that's part of it, but also not. And like, do you understand what I mean?
Yes, yes.
And and when you've lost them, you can't sell them.
Mhm.
So let's let's bring it back to the. So how? Okay, first of all, how many clients have you worked with, like providing this specific service?
Two. So
Okay,
I'm a
so
new.
it's kind of hard to gauge what the what they're looking for
Yes,
because there might be people out there that are looking for different things.
yes.
Okay,
And I
maybe we can
realized.
go with yeah.
Sorry, and I had to be clear about something. This business, it's newborn. Like we decided to think about it as a business, to operate and to start learning to be a business since November. I've been working
Okay,
in government for like 14 years before I decided to jump on this because I was not feeling right and stuff like that. And I said, okay, this is my moment to bet on this new
is
thing.
that what you did when you work for the government?
Yes,
Is that
as a like a side hustle. I was hired as a coach or probably as a trainer, or some businesses or small businesses uh, ask for.
oh okay? So that wasn't your day job
No.
in the government.
Yes,
Okay,
in the government, I work in the government. I work as a quality assurance manager when it comes to
okay,
services. So I work in that area for almost like 10 years. And 4 years I was like roaming around doing other things, but most of the years I worked with quality assurance. That's where I got all my training, and then I stepped into NLP. Then I decided to get a degree in psychopedagogy. And I know there's room to create services, but as you said, there's no one asking for it, or at least there's not a lot of companies asking for it. So I know that I'm trying to sell something that no one is asking for. And you blow my mind. I never thought it that way into, hey, look for a door. Then you can sell anything else. But look for a
hmm
specific need, specific pain. What I'm afraid of, because there's a lot of businesses trying to automate and to, okay, can I run my business with a little bit of uh, easiness, if you call it somehow? Uh, yes, you can if you procedure, if you document. But I feel that that's not what we do. And to be honest, I have a team of people
Well,
who.
that's what everybody says. Like, oh, copyright. I feel like that's not what I do. Oh, web design. I feel like that's not what I. Yeah, and I don't feel like that's what I do. But that's
Mhm.
my ego wanting to say I need everyone to know exactly what I do. I'm much more than a web designer. I'm much more than a copywriter. I get it. I get it. I get that you're much more than that. Nobody else gives a shit.
Yes.
That's what I'm trying to say.
And yes, and that's it. And
That's why I want to dig. I think I can help you. I
awesome.
have some questions for you.
Yes. Shoot.
What made you want to go study this? I think you said psychopedagogy.
Yes.
Is that what you said?
Yes.
Okay. What? Because that's something that nobody's even heard of, right? So what made you want to go study that? Like there must to be something must have triggered you to want to go learn that.
Yes. And just to clarify, this career, it's
Yeah.
only present in Chile, Argentina, Brazil, and probably in Spain, or probably Mexico.
Okay.
It's like an
Okay.
official therapist career, so it's not well known. What triggers, what made me study this? I was in the middle of quarantine, like middle of 2020, and we were watching a movie. My wife, she's also a psychopedagogist, but she's like 16 years in the job, so
Okay.
she's
So
well
okay.
experienced. And we were watching
Okay.
Wonder, you know the movie, like the kid
Yeah.
that used the helmet and stuff like that. And while we were
Yeah.
watching the movie, the movie end, and I was all tear up, and I said, "Fuck, I want to help people like him. He deserves people. There's a lot of people that deserve opportunities." And she said to me, "And why don't you study psychopedagogy and start helping them to learn better, to be able to express their uniqueness?" And I said, "You know what? You're right. I will give it a shot." Before that, I did psychology for almost like 6 years of my life, and I decided not to get the degree. So I reached out to the university and said, "Hey, I want to do this career. It's that possible?" And they said to me, "It's possible. You have some advantages. You can, if the career is about 4 years, you can make it in 2.5, but you have to do a lot of effort. I have a little kid, I have a job," and I said, "Okay, let's do it." And what made me decide to do so, it's I have a lot of tools, I have a lot of skills, I'm talented enough to help people to connect to their uniqueness and to help people discover new opportunities for them, to see their own magic. That's what got me to that point. And as I
Hmm.
learned about businesses, NLP, entrepreneurship, I also did a lot of training on that. I said, okay, there's room for organizations and businesses to incorporate learning as a new aspect they can thrive on and to excel. And there's a small amount of companies that realize this, but there are a lot of them who don't, and
Got it.
that what got me there.
I don't think you want to hear this, but what you are selling is leadership training.
Okay.
And that sounds cliche, like, you know what I mean? Like, for example, corporation, like big companies reach out to me
Mm-hmm.
and say, "Hey, can you do a leadership training for our team or whatever," right? Something like that.
Mm-hmm.
And that's how it starts. And then once you go in, you realize that, okay, this is what's going on. Like, have you ever heard of a company called Echelon Front?
No, I haven't.
Have you ever heard of a guy named Jocko Willink?
Yes.
Jocko Willink.
Yeah. Jacko. Yes.
Okay. So his company is called Echelon Front. And companies with that exact problem that you're talking about hires Echelon Front to come in and do this, and like they do like a whole program where they, right? But what they're asking for is because, "Oh, Jocko, you're like a great leader, great leadership
Mm.
coach. Can you come teach leadership, because our leadership is lacking. Our employees are lazy, or they don't want to do. They're too they got too much ego, whatever it is. Can you come train them?" And then Jocko will come in and they realize, okay, the problem is up here, not down here. You know what I mean? So the same thing that you just explained
Mm.
is exactly what that company does. It's just that maybe you might do it a little bit differently, process wise or something like that, or the material that you teach might be different. But at the end of the day, you're solving the same problem, in my opinion.
Mm-hmm.
And obviously, you are gonna the first line of like defense is going to be to go through the HR, because the HR departments are the ones that make the decision on, okay, how much money do we spend on our
Training.
our education or leaders training, yeah, things like that, right?
Mm.
So then you're going to have to use the words that they use.
Awesome.
What are they looking for? You know what I mean? So I mean, I don't know that world that well, but if I were you, what I would do
Mm.
is I would start going to these HR conferences, right? Like really get involved in this HR world and network, and make yourself part of, like, kind of like I'm in this part of a marketing community.
Mm-hmm.
I need you to be in part of that HR community.